Hi everyone, it's Ply from Wave Coffee, and today we are taking the first look at 1ZPRESSO Q-Air. So today we're doing an open box of the newest hand grinder from 1ZPRESSO. And now this is a little bit unusual for 1ZPRESSO. Usually they're grinders made of metal, whole body, but the Q-Air, the newest one, would be their most affordable hand grinder from 1ZPRESSO. That is because they adapting the Q2 into a plastic body, and this is called the Q-Air. Having very similar size, but lighter because of plastic body and more affordable as well. And it's gonna come in 4 colors. We have purple, blue, black, and in here, gray. Let's take a look what's in the box. Okay. And for those of you who are super curious about the pricing, this is gonna come in at less than 100 Canadian dollars. All right, here we go. So this is the gray, 1ZPRESSO gray, a little bit of desiccant, all plastic, rubber grip, and handle. So for this one, there's no brush, so you have a brush at home, that would be great. No air blower either. So let's take a quick look and compare between the Q-Air and the Q2. When you take a look at the body itself, as you can see that over here, there's metal part. And this is the internal are very similar to each other. Now with the Q series hand grinder, what I like most about it is that it's really easy to disassemble and clean. So the body here is in 3 parts. It is counter thread. So as you can see, this is from the Q-Air. And let's take a look at the Q2. So very similar to each other. There is slightly different. The body itself and the stabilizer is a little bit smaller. The thread itself here also slightly different over here. Yeah, just so that it can accommodate the plastic body. And the burr itself is very slightly different as well, although it's also heptagonal and the same size. When we compare the grind size, when we compare the grind quality, it's really similar, with the Q2 being slightly better and a little bit more consistent. And I think it's also because of the bigger stabilizer. However, with the pricing, you can't really go wrong with the Q-Air, especially if it's your first hand grinder and you're looking more of a budget-friendly option. 1ZPRESSO also mentioned that the grind quality of the Q-Air is just slightly below the Q2. All right. Now, what I find when I grind with the Q-Air is that I actually have to grind slightly on the coarser setting compared to the Q2. For example, if I was to grind Q2 at 2 rotations, I will probably have to add 6 clicks onto the Q-Air. So it will be 2 rotations plus 2 numbers. Now, from the first impression, when we're looking at the quality of the Q-Air, I do find that the plastic could be a little better. It feels a little toy-like, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm just really used to all the 1ZPRESSO hand grinder being all metal, starting from our first impression of the Q up to the J and the K line. This is all very solid feeling. So maybe I'm just not used to handling a plastic 1ZPRESSO hand grinder. Now let's take a look at the grind sound and grind speed of the Q-Air. We've been using the purple one, so we'll use the purple one. And then we're gonna do around the same grind size on the Q2 as well. We're setting at 66 clicks. This guy, 15 grams of coffee. This is the Panama Boquete washed. Okay, and it's still almost full now, so it's fit around 15 to 18 grams of coffee, depending on the size and the roast of the coffee bean itself. Okay, all right, and about 35 seconds or so. Now with the Q2. 1, 2, 66. And yeah, when I do back-to-back, I can definitely feel differences in not just the sound, but also the feeling as well. And then we'll take a closer look at the burr in a bit here. Well, it's around the same. I got it at 36. Okay, we'll keep the grind and we'll take a look at the grind size. Yeah, so at the same grind setting, you can see that the Q-Air is still very good compared to the Q2. And what I find is that the Q Air just has slightly bit more bolder. I think that the microfines when we were testing on the brew is very similar to the Q2, so it's not creating more fines, but maybe just slightly a little bit more bolder, which impact the cups, but not in a bad way. So we just have to brew it slightly differently, and it does have this slightly different profile, and it's still very good, can still make a very good cup. Okay, so now we're taking a closer look at the burr and what's inside the Q Air and the Q2. The first thing that we noticed is that the height of the burr. So the Q2 have a higher, it's a taller burr. So the burr itself is bigger in that regard, not the size in particular, but the height itself. And here is a little shorter. You can see that there's a little bit of differences between this angle of what they call a star or the burr edge that come up here, and it seems like to be more of an angle on the Q Air. Yeah. The other thing that we noticed is that the outer burr is also slightly different as well. So it seems like here there's more of these upper edges here that kind of initially crush the beans, and there's less over here. The inner burr itself on the lower side is very similar to each other when we're taking a look. Although it seemed like the Q2, the gap between, I would say, the blade is shorter, so there's essentially more blade, more of these sharp edges on the outer burr. One thing that we also notice as well is that the body itself that helps stabilize the burr, the Q Air is a little thinner compared to that of the Q2. The shaft, they're all the same. Here, spring, the same as well, and the bottom plate is also the same. Yeah. So there's a few differences between the Q Air and the Q2, which make the Q Air slightly more affordable compared to the Q2. One thing I noticed as well with the plastic body is that there's a little bit more static issue with the plastic compared with the metal or aluminum catch cup, and within the body as well. So the RDT become a little bit more important, I think, with the plastic body. Okay, and one last thing is that the Q Air still fit in the AeroPress. Here you go. And make it travel a little bit lighter. So with the new Q Air, one thing is that you can choose the color, a little bit more options, and super portable. The grind consistency and the grind quality is still very good. So let us know what you think about the Q Air. Maybe you already have one, maybe you got it from Taiwan or somewhere else. Let us know what you think in the description down below. We're looking forward to see you next time.